Hello everybody, welcome back. This is episode number 6 of the Vanarama YouTube Football Manager 2016 experiment, 2018 experiment with Celtic and Rangers in the English League. We're now in season 3, halfway through it, and we are in Sky Bet League 1. Celtic pretty much running away with it, 12-point gap over second place. Rangers just 1 point away from second. So you can tell there is still a big difference in the squads, but Rangers have been bringing their players in. Celtic have been selling a lot of theirs, but bringing in replacements. Maybe doing it the smart way, so they got a nice little kitty for when they get to the Championship to push, to launch the assault to get into the Premier League. But beforehand, I did say that I think Celtic will be top end Championship, bottom end Premier League. Rangers will be bottom end Championship, top end League 1. But then that would be the worst case scenario for both. But so far, both of them have done rather well. So, as we know, it's the 2nd of February now. So we know that the end of the transfer window has just passed. So let's have a little look. Celtic have brought 5 players in, and they've spent quite a lot of money. 9.75 million on Andre Wisdom, Nikolai Boyleson from Crystal Palace, Greg Lee from Millwall, Paddy McNair from Sunderland, and Ola Aina. Who is he? 23 years old. Not looking too great, to be honest with you. Obviously, we've heard of Paddy McNair. I'm sure he came through the Manchester United Academy. That's correct, yep. Greg Lee from Millwall at left back. Looks decent looking at his attributes, but is he going to be good enough for the Championship when they get there? Andre Wisdom, we know, will be. Plays either centre back or right back. Came through Liverpool, worth a lot of money. And then finally Nikolai Boyleson, I think that's how you're going to pronounce it. He's another defender left, and he's a decent looking one as well. So they've done alright here so far, I think. Josh Morris they picked up on a free transfer on the 2nd, so that's one that we didn't see. And he's 28, left midfielder. Who have they sold though? So from Mario Suarez down are the sales that they've made. Although it looks as though the transfer window has been sort of extended. So their total spend is 14 million. But you look at the class of players that they got there, they've done well, I believe. They've sold on some players there and recouped some of that money. As I say, the league don't lie. They're still in first place, so whatever the business they've done is obviously doing well for them. But the one thing we haven't checked yet is the progress in the cups. Now, Celtic, being League 1, will be in the FA Cup from round 1. So let's have a little look and see. Right, so this is from the top. So the Carabao Cup. So they got through to the 3rd round. They got through to the 4th round because they beat Walsall in the 3rd round then. Oh, they're through. They're doing well, yeah. They beat Brighton 2-1. The FA Cup. So they're still in the Checker Trade Trophy. So they won their Checker Trade games as well. So they're through in that as well. So a good cup season for Celtic so far. They won their FA Cup 1st round. They won their FA Cup 2nd round. And they've won the next round of the Checker Trade Trophy. Carabao Cup quarter-final now. This is interesting now. League 1 Celtic are in the Carabao Cup semi-final. FA Cup they went 8 to Swansea, 1-0 away, so they're out of the FA Cup 3rd round. Checker Trade Trophy they're still doing well in. So leg 1 of the Carabao Cup semi-final they've lost to Stoke 3-0, so I'd pretty much say that that's curtains on any hope of progressing in the Carabao Cup, unless they pull a miracle out of their backsides in the second leg at home. So they knocked Rangers out of the Checker Trade Trophy 3rd round, and then they lost 3-0 against Stoke. So 6-0 on aggregate against Stoke in the Carabao Cup. So they're still in the Checker Trade Trophy North quarter-final to play against Burnley under 23s. So a decent cup season for Celtic, except the 3rd round is a bit of a weak one for them to lose to Swansea. But the only League 1 Swansea are obviously Premier League. So Rangers, let's have a look at their transfer business. So they brought some players in on. So there must have been a day later for the the window. I think I may have to start doing it on the 3rd of September, although I haven't had this problem before. So they brought some players in. They're now even Steven now on their total spend. They've sold some players on, as you can see, so they haven't brought any players in January, which they probably needed to, unless they got no money to spend, of course. So they did sell Jack Alnwick, but they've loaned some players out, and obviously Zeki Friars and Conor Randall have both moved on. They were on the 2nd of the 9th as well. So possibly should have done a little bit more business here now, Rangers. So they bought Craig Newton, Marvin Johnson, Ashley Young of ex-Man United and Aston Villa, of course, and Chris Solly. So they're reinforcing their squad as a League One promotion team, I'd imagine, looking at the quality of the signings. They're going to have to hope they've got some money to spend when they get into the Championship. If they get into the Championship this season, I think they have to. If they feel like getting the Championship this season, I think that's when we're going to see the sort of deceleration of Rangers. Celtic, on the other hand, I think if they obviously they're going to get promoted. If they spend the money wisely, I can see them pushing straight into the Premier League and getting their first time of asking. But we'll see if Rangers get into the Championship and they've got a bit of money to spend, then maybe they will have a good Championship season too. But that's all to be seen. We have to conclude this season first, but before we do that, let's have a look at Rangers Cup progress in this season. So, Carabao Cup second round they went out. They won their first round game against Blackburn. They went out to Norwich in the second round. Checkatrade Trophy, they won their 3 group games and they won their FA Cup first and second round. But we know in the Checkatrade Trophy they end up going out in the next round to Celtic. So FA Cup second round, do they win the third? They do. They beat Nottingham Forest in the third round of the Cup. Fourth round of the Cup, they drew 0-0 at home to Blackburn. Their replay is coming up. So Rangers in the FA Cup, will they have a good cup run? They could do with the money of a big team. So they could do with beating Blackburn now and getting through to the 5th round and drawing a big team away maybe, or even at home because they got the big enough stadium to fill themselves. So let's see what they do in the cup. But like I say, we've got to conclude this season first. We'll look at Gateshead and Barrow and the state of the Scottish League at the end of the season. So guys, let's go there and see if, well, Celtic we know we're going to go up. Will Rangers join them in the Championship next season? Will Rangers extend their cup run? I'll take you there now. Okay then, so we're here now at the 31st of May, and the playoff final. We know Rangers didn't make the playoff final. Did they finish second? We all know Celtic finished first, but let's find out. There you go. Rangers made it into second place by 1 point. Celtic ran away with it. 23 points clear. So only losing 1 game all season, and that was at home to Charlton. Rangers squeezing their way in by a point, and pretty much any one of those 4 teams could have finished second by the end of it. Obviously Wigan and Fleetwood will battle out for a place in the Championship with Celtic and Rangers now for next season. So there we go. Celtic and Rangers are both up into the Championship, and Rangers, as I said, needed to do it this time around, and they did cut it a bit fine. In my opinion, I don't think they're going to push for a place in the Premier League for next season. Celtic, on the other hand, I believe will, and I believe they will actually, in fact, make it to the Premier League next season. So let's have a look at the players and who finished on what. The average rating. Bruno Alves, now fair play, someone of his age, to an Eric Matoho as well. So Rangers had some of the better players in the division. Celtic had a better all-round team, I think. And there was no real standout individuals, and I think maybe these individuals are partly reason why Rangers ended up finishing in second place. So the goals, Milan Djuric, Celtic signed him at the beginning of the season, we know. There we go, 22 goals this season, that's great, that is. Zach Clough ended up doing well, only a goal behind. So Rangers, Eduardo Herrera on 17. Any more? Nope. Just 2 good scorers each. Well, 1 good scorer each, I mean. Assists, George Glendon at Fleetwood. Joe Wells at Celtic did well on assists. And any Rangers players? No, just another Celtic player, Jared Bowen. Now, who had the most clean sheets? Well, there we go. It was Danny Hernandez for a lot of the season, but then David Button ended up doing it. Celtic must have had. They must have not conceded many goals at all in the end, towards the end of the season. Adam Federici was getting some games as well, so as you can see, a lot of Rangers players are particularly old. I'd imagine a lot of them players are going to move on. They'll have a fair bit of wage budget to play with, I believe. As and when they do, if they're all moving on at this season. The only thing is, hopefully they'll have enough money to actually buy the players that they need for next season. Celtic, we know, will have. So there we have it, guys. That's the end of that season. 3 seasons in, both Rangers and Celtic have both made their way to the Championship. First time of asking. Now, the next step is the Premier League. And as I said, I doubt Rangers are going to make the Premier League. I think Celtic very, very much will make the Premier League. Let's go and see how the Rangers and Celtic both got on in the Cups. So let's click on Celtic here. So Celtic were in the Checker Trade Trophy, weren't they? And they went out in the semi-final, North semi-final, to Nottingham Forest, losing 1-0 away. Now, Rangers were obviously in the 4th round of the Cup, and they had a replay against Blackburn. Now, how did that replay go? There was the first game, and they lost the replay on extra time. That's gutting. That really is gutting, because that could have funded them for a potential assault on the Premier League. Unlucky, Rangers, unlucky. But there we go, you got the promotion. I'd imagine if someone had asked, would you prefer to get promoted or go through to the 5th round of the FA Cup, they'd have taken promotion. So both teams had an alright season as far as cups are concerned. So there we go. Let's go and have a look in the Scottish League now. So, Ladbrokes Premiership, one thing we do know is Barrow have made it in exactly the same way as what Gateshead made it last season. But I do feel as though Gateshead will have gone down, as they did. But they certainly improved upon their early, really poor season. They were on 3 points on the 30th of November, so they managed to gain themselves another 20 points, but it was no good. They've gone back down into the Ladbrokes Championship, where Gateshead have gone up. Hibs have won the league. They've taken it back from Aberdeen. Aberdeen finished in 2nd again. But it might be worth having a look to see how these teams are doing in the Champions League, although that's not really a priority of this. The priority of this is Celtic and Rangers in the English League. And Celtic and Rangers will both be in the Championship next time we come to this. So, guys, thank you very much, all of you who are keeping up to this series. Hope you're enjoying it as much as I am enjoying doing it. So, there we go. Celtic and Rangers Championship. Make sure you catch the next episode to see how they start life in there. Thanks again, and until next time, it's cheerio for now.